Hello there, Cryptowisers. It's your old friend Milty here. I got a video for you today all about crypto gaming. It's on fire right now. There is no denying that crypto gaming, Web3 gaming, GameFi, whatever you want to call it, is going to be huge in this bull run. We have been waiting for this for years, okay? We always knew that gaming was the perfect use case for crypto. Okay, gaming has had essentially elements of NFTs and things like that for years and years and years. And now that you can actually have ownership of those things within games, that only makes complete sense. And we saw the beginnings of that in the last bull run with Axie Infinity, really the first Web3 game that really took off in that last bull run. If you look at the chart here, you see that Axie Infinity went insane. So it was sitting at around $4, and at the height of the market last time, it reached a all-time high of over $159. Okay, some $4 to $159, and now it's all the way back down at $6.31. Axie Infinity was the breakout star of Web3 gaming last bull run. This time, I expect many, many more sophisticated games, gaming platforms, gaming infrastructure. I think it's all going to take a huge next level in 2024, 2025, and there's going to be a lot of money to be made. Now, in this video, I'm going to be talking about two projects specifically. One that has been around for a while, but I've been looking into. I really love it. I think what it's doing is amazing. You may or may not have heard of it already, but it is a more well-known play. The second one, if you watch to the end of this video, is a small cap gem. It's one that I've been in for a few years now. It was a bit before its time, but I think as gaming explodes, as Web3 gaming explodes, I think it is a very interesting play as a very small cap hidden gem. Okay, why is gaming exploding right now? Well, we've gotten a lot of news in Web3 gaming recently, one of which was this: AAA studio Ubisoft to develop Web3 gaming experience with Immutable. That is Immutable X. So I've said this on the channel a few times already. I'm not really a gamer, okay? So I'm in this as an investor. I see that this is going to be huge. So I'm really trying to keep track of this as best as I can. But I'm not a gamer, so I'm not really in there playing the games or anything. But even I, an idiot like me, knows who Ubisoft is, okay? They are a huge player in Web2 gaming. And obviously, all those huge giants are going to be coming to Web3 gaming. There's just no doubt about it. It's just a matter of when. And we're seeing this partnership here. And that has really launched Immutable into having a huge resurgence here in the last few weeks. If we go to the 30-day chart here, you can see that Immutable X was at about 60 cents. Okay, this is late October. So it's all the way back up now to $1.41. So it's had a huge run up on this news. And that, and among many other things, other projects like Alluvium, which you can see here, has been doing amazing recently. A lot of the gaming tokens are starting to move. But let's look at the max chart, okay, just to get perspective on this, okay? If you're thinking, oh no, I didn't get it at 60 cents, it's already at 141. Well, part of you is right, okay? Look, I never suggest that you go into these tokens after they've had a huge run up. There's always going to be at least a bit of a correction, okay? And especially before we get to a blow off top, we got lots of time to go before that. But look at the perspective here, okay? Immutable X in the last bull run, it hit an all-time high of $9.52. So at 141, it is still over 85% down from its all-time high. So for me, it's just a question of like how and when to get into some of these gaming plays. I wouldn't do it right now after they've really spiked over the last couple of weeks. You know, I just don't like buying anything after it's had a huge spike. Sure, you can miss out because you never know when it's going to stop, but there is always going to be some sort of correction. So even if I end up buying it higher than $1.41, but in its cycle, I've kind of buying more of a dip, I prefer that than, trying to catch it on its way up. But look, the thing is, if we are right and we are entering a new bull cycle for Bitcoin and crypto, then we are still very, very early, and these prices right now are going to look very cheap a year from now. All right, guys, before I go into the specific projects that I want to talk about Web3 gaming today, do me a huge favor, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and even more importantly, give us a comment in the comment section. Let me know, what do you think of these choices? Are you in them? Are you not? Do you think I'm crazy to like these ones? What do you think of Web3 gaming overall? Is that a narrative that you're investing in? Are you actually playing these games? The whole point of us having this channel is to have crypto conversation out there with as many people as possible. So make sure that in the comments, you are giving us your opinion about these videos that we're making. Also, guys, as always, make sure you're following us on X/Twitter at Cryptowise, guys. That's a great way to get a hold of us. Also, if you want to send in any questions, any requests for future videos, all that good jazz, that can be done at Cryptowise, guys, on X. All right, without further ado, the first project I want to talk about, Merit Circle, MC. Now, this token launched just at the tail end of the last bull cycle. This chart here on CoinGecko, it starts at November 2021, which is actually when the whole market started going down and it really never recovered. And then we went into crypto winter. But at that time, we were just kind of heating up. Web3 gaming was just kind of started, like, it had a lot of momentum. A lot of new games were raising a ton of money to build out these huge ambitious games, and one of the type of projects that I loved was what Merit Circle was doing, which was creating a gaming DAO. So originally this project really started as a GameFi DAO, and I'll talk about that in more detail coming up. But recently, in the last few months, these guys have been really changing their game plan and have done a full rebrand. They are now Beam Token. And Beam is a full-on Avalanche subnet for gaming. And I'm going to talk through the things that they're focused on. Honestly, I think what they're doing is really exciting, really tackling some of the major issues about what's wrong with Web3, why is it not catching on. I think these guys are really at the forefront of identifying some of those pain points to onboard regular gamers into Web3 gamers. So this is one of my favorite GameFi plays right now for this next bull cycle. But caution, and of course, none of this is financial advice. I'm just sharing with you things that I like, things that I'm going to be doing, but you have to do your own research and make your own decisions. All I'm saying is that I love this project and I am adding this to my watch list. I really think that this will be part of my portfolio moving forward. But caution, because game tokens have been so hot lately, I'm holding off buying right now. I will start to DCA into this if prices continue to rise, but I do think that there will be a pullback at some point where I can enter this play. But why do I like Beam so much? So just to remind you, Merit Circle is Beam, Beam is Merit Circle. So the project Merit Circle has decided to rebrand as Beam. They've changed their token over. So the Merit Circle token is no longer, okay? So, I mean, what happens with these migrations is obviously the old token there'll be some around just because some people won't migrate it over. But if you're looking to get into this project now, it's not the Merit Circle MC token that you're looking for. It's the Beam token. And they traded it one MC token for 100 Beam tokens. So as you can see here, price-wise, Merit Circle is at 88 cents, whatever, and the Beam token is at 0.0088 cents. So it's essentially 1/100th of the value of an MC token. The market cap for Beam is sitting at just under 400 million right now. It's currently the 125th rank crypto. So let's talk about Beam. What the heck is Beam? So we'll jump to their website, meritcircle.io. This is the thing to just keep in mind. Don't get confused by this. The actual kind of DAO which I want to talk a little bit more about. But the DAO is going to remain, the name of it is going to remain Merit Circle. But one of the things that the DAO is doing is they've created this Avalanche subnet, which is a gaming specific blockchain called Beam. And so it's one of the things that they're doing. And now the token is now the Beam token. But the company slash DAO, however you want to refer to it, is still Merit Circle. And the website is meritcircle.io. They do have a great video here on the website. It's a longer video, but I recommend that you watch it if you're interested in this project. It's about 23 minutes. They did a great job here with this, really explaining everything that they're doing, why they made the decisions that they did, and the major elements now of Beam and why I am super excited about this project. So I'm just going to really run through the highlights. If you really want a detailed explanation of this, I recommend watching that video. And let me just go through why this was one of the things I was getting really excited about last bull run, and then the whole market crash, was these gaming DAOs, because it's really hard to invest in Web3 gaming. You know, I have invested in particular games here and there. They're really a crapshoot, you know, because there's a lot of games out there. Some of them are going to hit, some aren't. It's kind of this like, you know, micro version of crypto within the crypto space is just, how do you invest in Web3 gaming? And what I loved was this idea of a DAO, which essentially was a way to invest in a lot of different NFTs, gaming, but kind of diversifying. It's almost like an ETF in a way, in that you invest in the DAO token and the DAO buys up a bunch of NFTs. They invest in games, they invest in gaming tokens, and you own a part of that treasury. So that's what Merit Circle was. And now they're becoming way more ambitious. They're turning into essentially a competitor for the Immutable X's out there. These guys seem to really know their stuff in terms of gaming. They are gamers, and so what they're creating seems to really be hitting on what gamers want, both from a developer standpoint to attract gaming developers to the Beam blockchain, but also users. They seem to have a really good strategy to attract both the gaming developers and the users. But let's talk more about them as a treasury. As this kind of original vision, they were a DAO, this GameFi DAO. What's great about these DAOs is all the information in terms of the treasury and what you're buying into is online there. So there is actual tangible value, which is essentially what they have in their treasury. And if we look at the Merit Circle treasury at the moment, so these numbers are for the end of September, so they're about a month old. But if you have a look, this is all the holdings of the Merit Circle treasury. So if you end up buying the Beam token, part of what you're buying is a portion of these assets. So they've got 36 million plus in cash on hand. That is broken into Tether USDT coin and the Binance USD coin. Then they have liquid crypto assets, just about 7.5 million. They've got a bunch of wrapped BTC. They've got Tether Gold. They've got some Ether. Now they do have the Merit Circle token here. So they have the value of it just over 600,000, which is totally reasonable. You know, that's one thing you want to just look out for in terms of these treasuries is like, do they say they have like $20 million in the treasury, but it's all their own token? That's definitely not what you want. They have some Binance coin and Ether, and they also have the liquidity pool on PancakeSwap of the Merit Circuit token with the BNB token. Then they own a bunch of NFTs. They have about $2.2 million worth of NFTs. But the main area of interest here is they have almost $50 million worth of venture investments in Web3 gaming. So this is where I'm kind of saying that it is like buying kind of a GameFi ETF in a way, because all these games that they're invested in, it's like you're investing in them yourself if you invest in the Beam token. So this is the original purpose of Merit Circle. But They are completely changing. They're still going to have this treasury with a lot of the venture investing in gaming, but they're doing so much more now. So let's talk through some of the main highlights of what they've been building. A new era of gaming. Beam is an open source blockchain specialized for gaming. It is an ecosystem that simplifies the complexity of game development and dramatically enhances the gaming experience, putting the focus back on the player. So again, I'm not going to go in super great detail here. There's a lot to go through. But one of the main things that I love in terms of their focus is being able to onboard players, create a crypto experience, a crypto gaming experience, and taking the crypto out, basically. So creating an experience where people don't need to know that they're even using crypto wallets. You don't have to do the whole seed phrase wallet, build a wallet like you do in crypto. And you can actually play the games without taking ownership of any of the NFTs or anything like that. So one of the main elements that they've done is you can go on their platform. And so this is one of the main platforms that they have, which is their hub. So this is hub.onbeam.com, or what they call the Beam Hub. So they've got a ton of games here in the hub that you can play. Now, all of these are crypto games, but you can just play them like a regular game. You don't even have to worry about the fact that they're a crypto game. Go in, play the game, stop playing when you want, don't even worry about it. But if you get to the point where you're really into one of the games and you're building out, you've got your items in the game that you've started collecting that are gaining value, at some point you can decide, I want to claim ownership. And it's basically like turning ownership mode on, where you end up taking ownership of the NFTs, being able to buy, sell, trade, what crypto gaming is going to be. But I like their strategy here of allowing people to just play without worrying about any of that. And then if they want to opt into that, at some point they can decide to opt into that and then get the full experience of crypto gaming. So this is the Beam Hub. The other elements that they have here, they have the Beam Companion app. So this is a mobile app that you can download for either iOS or Android. And then you basically connect your app profile in the hub as you're playing a game. And that's how it kind of works. So the app essentially will hold all your personal materials and stuff, and then it connects into the game. And then the last main element they have here is Sphere. Sphere is their marketplace. So essentially like an NFT marketplace, the way that like Magic Eden is or OpenSea, but this is very game specific. So this is an interesting element. I really like this. It's all about user experience. So if you're someone who is more into gaming than NFTs, if you go to Magic Eden, where they're selling all sorts of collections, stuff that has nothing to do with gaming and stuff, it's not the best user experience for someone who just wants to be into crypto gaming and is more of a gamer. They are building out a marketplace that is way more user-friendly for just that. As you can see on here at sphere.market, basically open it up, it's a marketplace, and then you have all the different games that are available right now. So basically it's broken down not into collections, but into actual games. So if we go into one of these, now a lot of these just have kind of NFT collections at the moment, but as these games evolve and things like that, you would have all the different NFT elements within that game. So some of it would be the avatar characters, but others might be weapons or, different elements in the game that can be owned, whether, maybe different spaceships or whatnot, depending on the game. So I love this strategy. They've really thought out all the different elements of Web3 gaming and are trying to create a really cohesive experience for gamers, but not just gamers, also developers. So they've got the Beam SDK. And again, they're trying to make this as easy to use for just game developers as possible so that they don't have to worry at all about that kind of crypto side of things. So if they're building a great game and you want to plug into Web3 and the blockchain aspect of it, Beam is providing you with all the kind of tools that you will need to do that as a developer. And here's their little motto here: Beam OS, by gamers, for gamers, ownership, creativity, and enjoyment. Anyway, that's a very broad overview of the main elements of Beam, but I really think they have put a lot of great thought into creating this cohesive experience for gamers. and game developers. So as I mentioned, it used to be the MC token, and now they've migrated over to Beam. So they put an article out about this. This was at the end of October, and I just wanted to touch upon a few things that just talk about the token itself, the Beam token, and why it might be an interesting one to invest in. So in terms of the migration, this question was, does this mean that there will be supply inflation? There was essentially no supply inflation. Like I said, they did split it. So one MC token was worth 100 Beam. So you would trade your one MC token, you got 100 Beam back. But other than that, no inflation to the token. So there is already a way to bridge. There's another article here on Medium. This was October 24 that they talk about Beam, and they go through again their whole philosophy in launching Beam and why they are doing this. And in this article, as you see here, there's the link to the bridge, and it's bridge.onbeam.com/bridge. You select your token. Select, what network you want to bridge from. So right now you can essentially do it from both Avalanche and Ethereum. And then once there, you can do some swapping as well. But this article also will explain all the elements that I touched upon for you. It talks about the Beam companion app, talks about Sphere, it talks about the Beam Hub, the Beam OS, and then also the Beam SDK. So I got to say, I'm really excited about this as a GameFi play, as a way to invest into Web3 gaming. One of the projects that I'm really going to be following in and will probably most definitely invest in at some point in the near future when I can find an entry price that I think is a good one. A couple of elements that I like about the rebranding. One, I love the kind of the look and feel of Beam. I think it's great. But also just from an investor standpoint, going into a new cycle, a bull cycle, and now you have this chart, everyone will end up forgetting about Merit Circle. People will forget about it. But if you look at the Merit Circle chart, you can see, like a lot of the other tokens from the last cycle, it's going to have all these resistance points because a lot of people got the token at a higher price. And so as it goes up, it's going to start hitting resistance. And this is why I'm a little bit reticent to jump into Beam right now, is just because the MC token over the last few months has really shot up. It was down closer to 40 cents, and now it's all the way up at 88 cents, and that is reflected in the Beam price. But for new investors coming in and stuff, I think it's actually great that they're going to have this brand new chart. It's going to look essentially like a new token for new investors coming in. I think that's a plus. Also, just the lower price point, as we saw in other cycles, sometimes just psychologically looking at tokens that have very low price per token can be attractive to retail investors, especially I think gamers and the gaming. I think it's much better to have a much lower price per token just from a psychological retail investor standpoint than, say, a token being, $50, $100, $300. People kind of look at that and be like, oh, too expensive. I missed that. And even though it's not true and really it has to do with market cap and not price of token and all that kind of stuff, as new investors come in, they don't really understand that stuff. And so these are little things to think about as you're looking at tokens. So as I mentioned, Beam is available. It's out there. You can, if you're into the centralized exchanges, it's on Binance, or Binance, as Yellen would call it. It's on Gate.io, and also from a decentralized standpoint, you can grab it on Uniswap. All right, so that is my first gaming token of the day that I wanted to talk about. Very bullish on Beam. Love the new direction. I think they're spot on in trying to combat or find solutions for some of the challenges of why Web3 gaming hasn't been able to attract as much of the Web2 gamers yet. I also love that it's Treasury. It has the Treasury. I love the gaming DAO model. Essentially, if you look at the Treasury, that is the minimum value of MC or Beam token. Right now, it's still tracking MC. This will switch over to Beam, but their treasury is worth $95 million alone, just what they own in the treasury. Now, what they own in the treasury could go down, but we're at the beginning of a bull cycle. Most likely, a lot of that stuff's going to go up. And that gives it, at least, it's like comparing it to kind of real stocks where you have some sense of the assets. What are the assets that they own? That's what I like about these DAOs. Where some of the other projects, we don't have an insight into their bank account. We don't know what their assets are. They don't really disclose that. There's not a lot of transparency around that. So that's why I really love these gaming DAOs specifically, because there can be a lot of value there and there's so much transparency there. You know exactly what you're buying into. Now, in the case of Beam, you're buying into the Treasury, and now you're buying into also the actual blockchain, the gaming blockchain, which is trying to compete with some of these bigger players, the Immutable X and all that. So I think there's two great reasons to look at Beam as a possible investment. Now, I promised you I would also talk about a small cap hidden gem that I also really like. Before I do that, if you're enjoying this video, or if you're not, but you still have pity on me and want to help me out, please make sure you smash that like button and comment. What do you think of Beam? Has it been a project you've been looking at? Did you invest in it a long time ago? Are you thinking of investing in it? Did you not know about it? And now that you do, are you going to consider it? Don't be shy. Comment in the comment section. And of course, subscribe if you haven't already. And if you are watching this on YouTube and thinking, I'd rather just listen to this, well, we are also available as a podcast, and you can find us on your favorite podcast platform. All right, guys, I know what you want. I know you little crypto-wisers are all degens like me. So let's talk small cap hidden gem. And this one is PathDAO. So essentially exactly the same thing as the original concept of Merit Circle. So if we have a look at the PathDAO Treasury, so essentially they are a much smaller version of Merit Circle. They also focus more on supporting gamers. So one of the things that they do is they sponsor gamers for a percentage of their winnings. But then, like the other Treasury, they have invested a bunch in different crypto tokens, gaming plays, and NFTs. So their treasury value is at 13.5. They have over $8 million in cash on hand. And this is the little nugget right here to look at. The treasury value alone per circulating Path supply, the true value of Path right now, if it's just purely based on the value of their treasury right now, the value of Path per token should be 0.0325 cents. The actual price of Path right now is just over 1 cent. So it's actually like the price of a Path token right now is worth a third of what the true value is. Because at the very least, the value of Path, all the circulating supply, should be equivalent of what the treasury is worth. And right now it is trading at a great discount. That's why I really like this. And full disclosure, I invested in PathDAO at the very beginning. So I've been holding on to my Path tokens. I'm not selling. I think we're just at the beginning of this. But full disclosure, obviously transparency, I'm invested in this, just so you know. And because I really liked this team, which is why I invested in it in the first place, I loved the vision for it. But there are a lot of these GameFi DAOs out there. So I don't want, it's not like this is the only one. So make sure to do your own research. If you think there are better ones out there, go for it. For me, I really like PathDAO. And if we scroll down and look at kind of some of the things that they own, a lot of their NFTs they've got over 3 million in NFTs. And of course, if you watch this channel, you know I love Photo Finish Live. Well, that was one of the main investments that they made. They invested $79,000 into Photo Finish Live. That's now worth over $700,000. And then you can go through all the NFTs that they own, all the different tokens. They have $2.3 million worth of tokens. Then they've got their cash on hand. Anyway, obviously, I think that the treasury for these things are at a low. I think that the value as we go into this bull market obviously will increase the value of those NFTs and the tokens and any of the games. And as games get going, I think the strategy that PathDAO has of investing in gamers and taking a percentage of their profit is also going to be a really good one. Now, another little nugget, if you don't trust me, you don't trust my opinion, to bring this whole episode together, let's go back to the Merit Circle Treasury and have a look at their investments, their venture investments. And you'll notice if you scroll all the way down that they are also investors in PathDAO. That's right. PathDAO is actually in the treasury of Beam/Merit Circle. So they invested $200,000 into PathDAO. That's now only worth $126,000. So they're still down on it. Very interesting to see that Merit Circle saw enough potential in PathDAO and liked them enough to invest in them as well. So you can either go Beam and you get a little piece of PathDAO anyway, or if you want to be more of a degen, PathDAO right now trading at a discount from the value of the treasury. Their whole market cap right now is only 4.2 million. Their treasury is over 13 million. Now beware, this is a degen play. The volume, there's hardly any volume going on PathDAO right now, only 3,000 24-hour volume. That's on Uniswap. This is small cap, small cap. It's ranked 1,412 of all of crypto. So just be very aware, obviously not financial advice, but this is a degen play. Anyway, guys, there you have it. So Web3 gaming, obviously going to be huge. How do you invest in it? We're going to be talking about a lot of other projects too in Web3 gaming over the next few months and over the next year. But for me, as I'm digging into it right now, these are two projects that I love. From a kind of a bigger standpoint, it's Merit Circle/Beam, the Beam token. And then from a small cap hidden gem degen play, I already hold a bunch of PathDAO. Once again, do me a favor, smash the like button if you haven't already and subscribe to the channel. And of course, make sure you follow us on X/Twitter at Cryptowise, guys. And I will be back with more videos very soon. But until then, I'm Milton saying over and out.